Oh, homies, what a day. What a wonderful day. It is. Let me slow down before I overwhelm you with my maximum amount of passion right now. Because what a time to just really feel that confidence in my physical body again, you know? Not so much the control, you know, because you never really have control over anything. You just have control over how you act and, you know, move through the things you try to work on. And it's so nice to be able to have a knack and a good feeling for what my knee can handle, you know? I've been struggling it for, coming up in April is going to be a year since my knee first started having pain, which is pretty insane. Time really flies. I look back at that and it really took me aback because it's not something I ever realized where it feels like such a short amount of time because you're just trying to live in the moment, do the best you can and love each second of it. But man, so much can change even if the numbers don't. You know, I look back at me from a year ago, even 6 months ago, and I can't recognize myself. It looks like I'm a whole new person. You know, it's not so much because of the lifts I'm doing or the way I lift. It's more so the feeling I have when I do. You know, every year, every month, every day, every session I move through in these programs, these cycles, just doing my best to get through it, they always have a different sort of desire, a different passion behind them. You know, it's never the same. And not in the sense of enjoyment. I'm always going to love this stuff. But every time I get to push through and do my best, regardless of how strong I get. Because truthfully, in the past year, I haven't really made any progress in terms of all-time numbers because of the back and forth pain I've dealt with. But getting through those harshest of times is what makes me come back with a different sort of appreciation, you know, a new perspective for how I want to live through my workouts. You know, it's not just going to the gym for the sole benefit of just making yourself healthy or feeling a little bit better sometimes. It's literally a part of the way I live. It's a livelihood. You know, it's something that gets me out of bed. It's something that gets me in the mood to try to achieve, you know? It's as simple as that. It seems, you know, a given that anybody doing this kind of thing, especially consistently, would want to feel that way, but such a wide majority of people in the gym either just do it for shits and giggles or don't have enough experience or time on it to have a grasp of what they want it to become, you know? And shit, I get to that point even now sometimes when I hit my low, my real low kind of days, because I'll tell you, when the pain first started, because I'm kind of convinced now that it's not so much of a tear that developed in my quad tendon, but probably more of just general tendinopathy, because I think it would have been way worse. And the fact that the pain's been reoccurring for this long means that it's more of a chronic issue than it is acute, which isn't a bad thing. You know, of course it's not great, but that's kind of the same thing that I'm talking about with having a different ideology behind my lifts. You know, it's not just something that is going to make my knee feel better. It's not just basic PT or basic strength gaining. It's the idea that I can overcome myself. You know, it's something that I think not enough people think about. You know, everybody's so worried about how they compare to other people or who's going to see what they're doing, what kind of relationships it might build for them in terms of career success. But when it comes to things you're truly passionate about, that you couldn't care less other than just living through it and doing your best for yourself, none of the outside shit matters. And I'm not trying to sound hypocritical. I love making these videos, and obviously when I have a day that more people see it, I get excited. That's normal. But it's the fact that I started this self-talk channel just to, first of all, get my mental health checked out. Because when I started, if you go back over a year ago, October of 2023, October of 23, when I put the first self-talk video up, man, was it different. It's just, it was a whole new world of a person, and it's barely been over a year. You know, it feels like I've metamorphosized at a rate that I can't even comprehend, because once you start letting life happen at its own rate instead of trying to take control of it, you really stop worrying about all the little shit in between. You know, you just embrace every second of it for what it can become. And who gives a shit if you don't get stronger? It's positive, it's relative positivity and progression to what you want to work on every day. You know, if I hurt my knee tomorrow and I can't squat half the weight I'm squatting now, I'm not going to come in and tell people that I squat near 500 pounds. I might say when my knee feels good, and before I got hurt, I was squatting near 500, but at the moment, the max is half of that. Because that's what it means to adhere to your present self. You know, if you're injured or you're plateauing or you're not where you used to be for any other reason, it doesn't matter. Accept who you are. Because if you don't accept that current the current limitations you have, there's no way you're going to supersede them, because you're already setting yourself at a pace that's unachievable for what you're currently at. You know, it's like when people bank their happiness on the success of their future career. You have no idea what the fuck you're going to be doing in 10 years. No one does. And even if you have a super clear idea and want and desire for what you want right now, you have no idea what field, what career, what passions, what obligations you're going to be working through at that time. You know, right now, I have a clear idea that I want an Olympic lift for the rest of my life. I never want to stop. I love it so much. But in 20, 10, even 5, even in a year, I don't know how long it could be. But at some point, something could happen that makes it to where I don't Olympic lift anymore. And is that a bad thing? Absolutely not. The only bad thing that could come of it is allowing it to deteriorate my mindset. You know, it's the importance of holding true to just doing the best with what you can do now. I tell people all the time, if I got injured permanently and I could not Olympic lift, I swear to you, tomorrow I am in the gym bodybuilding. That's not my thing. I'm not a big fan of it. But I guarantee you I could give myself a reason to grow through it and try, you know? And again, it could be something totally different. It could be some other form of exercise. I tell people all the time, it doesn't have to just be weight training, even though that's what most people do. Go swim, run, play tennis, play pickleball. Do anything that gets you out of your house. But make it something that you can actually see yourself achieving something greater through, you know? And not, obviously you're never going to know if you can achieve that high want and desire that you originally think up. I know I've been kicked down and brought back up more times than I can count, but that's how it goes. It's the idea that you can show up to whatever you're passionate about and have an absolute clear, vivid image of what you're going to achieve. Know for a 100% fact that you have the potential and the capability to do it through the experience and the progress that you've put in the present moment. And if you fail, who cares? But worry about that failure after you fail. Because if you're going to go in there and tell yourself, oh, probably not going to get it. I'm a little scared of this one. Yeah, you're not going to fucking hit it. I promise you. It is going to be either extraordinarily difficult, high risk of injury, or you're just going to immediately fold like an omelet. You have to get under that barbell without a second thought in your mind that at the very minimum, the very least of your efforts, you're going to put in 110%. You're going to do the best form possible. You're going to hold that bar still or hold whatever you're doing to the best of your abilities and just explode. I don't care if I come crashing down. It's the fact that I stood up as hard as I could with the ideology, with the fortitude that I was going to achieve and succeed that goal, you know? So fun today. The clean and jerk session was really fun. I wanted today to be, this whole week is meant to just be fun. You know, I don't have to come up with some random crazy, insane complex that nobody's done before. I just wanted to do things that I'm comfortable with, but also can push myself through, you know? And this week's supposed to be highly technical, highly based off core strength, you know, to reprime all the important parts of my physical body for the main program when I get back to it next week. So I wanted to get back and do some clean and jerk, split jerk thrusters, you know, and not just the thruster where you just immediately push jerk over your head. It's the actual full split jerk. And the reason I do that is because especially when you catch the clean, there's so much more of a necessity to hold it with as vertical of a core and as high a delt position as you can, so that you can push through that split jerk as evenly as possible. Because even the slightest inch forward or the slightest bit of weight leaning you forward is going to make it to where your front foot can't get out, and you're going to cut the range of motion of that front foot. A lot of your back foot's going to push you forward, and you're either going to miss it with bad form or you're going to get it with even shittier form. You know, you'll see, like, I think at like 255, I just threw it back down because the clean was not solid. You know, I need that clean to be immaculate to actually imagine myself throwing my body under the barbell with no pause in between the clean and the split jerk. Doing 295 was an experience, because the first one, as you'll see, I 100% would have had a training make on the first attempt. You know, this is what I'm talking about. I was slightly leaned forward on the clean, and it made it really hard on my erector muscles on my back and my core, standing that up and then attempting to jump underneath it. Again, I wanted to give it the attempt because you can't think about it in the moment, especially at your heaviest weight. But jumping underneath it, that first attempt, I felt my front foot hit really early. It was bent all knee over toe. My elbows didn't lock out. I just instantly threw it down because there was no way in hell I was going to end a technical day on that shit of a rep, you know? So got back on it, like, almost right away. And oh my God, I love that immediate progression, you know? Really, even if it's not as fast, even if it's not as whippy, I got under the bar at the best rate I could to hold my core completely vertical, hold that really solid technique, and the split jerk was amazing. You know, every day I do these technical complex or variation days, I feel more and more peaked than I've ever felt before. You know, like 295, insane. The last time I did a split thruster was on a bench day where I didn't even have to do another squat workout, and I only hit 275 before I burned out. And I haven't clean and jerked in a week, if not more. It's pretty ridiculous that I'm this amped up. You know, that's why there's no worry about weight or volume this week. It's all technique and burning the shit out of my core so that I can be fully prepped. And it's prepping. Let me tell you what, I do still feel very sore, and it's a little difficult to get under the barbell right now, especially on clean and jerks, but it's getting there. And as heavy as today was, I really do believe I could have had 305. But again, the weight's not it's not the issue today. If I put the weight up that extra bit, then the technique's going to decline, and then the day becomes inefficient, you know? And then I have to take that fatigue tomorrow. Getting into the squat, oh, the squat was fun. This is one of my favorite variations that I never see anybody do. I'm not even sure where I thought up of it on my own. I'm sure someone's done it before. Nobody's ever really invented anything in weightlifting when it comes to form. There's always someone that's tried something before you, even if they didn't give a shit about it. But when I do this kind of variation, today I did just one top single, but you do a pause at 90 degrees on the way down, a pause at ass to grass, and like hard pauses, and then a full pause at 90 degrees when you're standing it back up before you stand all the way up. So it really makes you lock in every single bit of the technique. You know, you can't spend any time unbracing the core. You can't utilize the bounce the way you'd want to. You are fully limited. Fully. You cannot rush it. And it's if you have issues with your knees, if you have issues with overall strength, core stability, especially core stability and hip stability, and just technique overall, I love this one. Because you have to lock it in. There's no choice. Because obviously, pausing on the way down is pretty simple. Pausing ass to grass, honestly, might feel the easiest because that's when you're able to relax. But that's where a lot of people mess up. Because if you relax in that ass to grass position, you're not going to be able to stand up. you know, and you have to pause again, remember? So it was really cool to have been able to put up the weight that I put up today. 425 flew. I mean, flew, especially for how sore I feel. Insanity that's what I hit. Because, mind you, this first cycle back on, I really want to do this right. I do not want to overdo it and over rush it. So I'm taking my time, doing weights that I know I can crush first, so that next cycle when I get back on, I fully have that confidence in being able to put new heavyweight up that I've never done before, you know? And I'm supposed to end with 3 doubles at 425 at the end of this next cycle. And the fact that I triple paused it today, and I guarantee you I could have done 445, but again, I'm trying to make it to where I can do a top comfortable single with perfect technique. And if the technique's going to diminish, I can't do it. That's just, I got to relax this week. I cannot overdo it because I'm already allowed to go heavier than most people would imagine for a quote-unquote recovery week. So I need to make sure I temper myself just enough to give it 100% when I get back on the actual strength training program, you know? It's been great, though. Physically, easily, I got to give it a 9.4. If I wasn't as sore as I was in my back, just because I haven't clean and jerked in a minute, it would have been really high today. I feel so prepped. And, like, even with my knee, I felt a little something back and forth. Not, like, pain, but just, like, discomfort. And I've really gotten it down when it comes to the walkout, making sure that my feet are even. I'm getting better at lining it up right away to where, you know, I'm finally starting to get used to it so that my body, when my right foot tries to go forward, I can actually recognize that it's not lined up, you know, because before I couldn't tell. So that's making huge progress, and it's making it to where my knee does not hurt anymore, especially getting into those heavier weights. Dude, mentally, 9.65. Such a good day. It's really good because it's literally day 2 back on a typical schedule. And I know what you might say, I'm jumping the gun, I might be getting ahead of myself, but I don't care. Ride the high horse while you have it, damn it. You know, if you're not going to give yourself the pat on the back that you deserve when you really earn it, then who's going to do it for you? You know, you got to give it to yourself. Because, like, for example, I got my girlfriend at home. She supports me 100%. She makes me feel amazing about what I do. But I'm not going to feel that appreciation and that credibility for my experience unless I give it to myself, you know? Because I know that she doesn't really know exactly what I'm doing. And even if somebody knows exactly what lifts you do and they do the exact same program as you, it's the fact that your effort is your own. And you have to hold tight on that. You know, you got to give it to yourself when you truly, truly earn it. Oh, man, I'm excited. Tomorrow is going to be a snatch variation with a bench press variation. So I'm going to see what I can do. Bench, I honestly have no idea where it's going to be because anytime I take an extended period off of bench press, it diminishes the quickest because I can only do it twice out of every 8 days with the way my training is. With it predominantly on Olympic lifting, I don't want to hurt my shoulder, so benching too much is not going to be very helpful for me. Plus, I don't need to do it any more than what I do now because I'm consistent. You know, you only really need to hit each main workout about twice, if not 3 times a week at the most. Because the reason I do Olympic lifting every day is because the technique, you know. I have to keep that very concise and consistent, so I can't really afford to take many days off when it comes to that. But I'm just excited. I'm just going to have fun, mess around. I'm not sure if it's going to be like a top single or a rep set of whatever, but I'm just going to have fun. That's it, you know? Not worry about it. Just do my thing and drive through the weight as hard as I can. There's nothing else to think about. It brings me joy. It brings me passion, so why the hell not, right? Let me know how the lives and the lifts have been going. You know I love hearing about it, and I appreciate y'all hanging out, hearing me yap my head off, because I love to do it. Back tomorrow as always. Always going to put in 100%. And I love you guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.